To say that straight men are heterosexual is only to say that they engage in sex, fucking exclusively with the other sex, i.e. women. All, or almost all, of that which pertains to love, most straight men reserve exclusively for other men, the people whom they admire, respect, adore, revere, honor, whom they imitate, idolize, and form profound attachments to, whom they are willing to teach, and from whom they are willing to learn, and whose respect, admiration, recognition, honor, reverence, and love they desire, those are overwhelmingly other men. In their relationships with women, what passes for respect is kindness, generosity, or paternalism. What passes for honor is removal to the pedestal. From women, they want devotion, service, and sex. Heterosexual male culture is homoerotic. It is man-loving. Marilyn Frye, The Politics of Reality, Essays in Feminist Theory. One of the most common stereotypes about film bros in recent discourse is the fact that so many of them idolize problematic characters. This extends to those behind the screen as well, but this is not a video about separating the art from the artist. We simply do not have enough time. How about this? When I hit 100,000 subscribers, I'll make a video on my opinion of the ethics of separating the art from the artist, but not today. But the point still stands that a lot of these film bro alpha male movie characters are incorrectly idolized due to an incorrect reading of their stories. From Raging Bull to Joker, American Psycho to Fight Club, Iron Man to Marty Supreme, these are deeply dangerous characters that make awful role models, yet time and time again we see them idolized. But nowhere is this more prevalent than in Martin Scorsese's filmography. If you're watching a Scorsese film, chances are you're in for the same story in a different font about an Icarian fall from grace of a deeply evil criminal who extorts everything and everyone around him until he has nothing and no one left. And I love every single one. Don't let my cynicism fool you. There is no contrarian take to be had here. I idolize this man, he's one of my heroes, and I think he's one of the best storytellers to ever live. But the gag is, being a Scorsese fan condemns me to a life of having some of my favorite movies misunderstood by everyone forever. So I'm here to set the record straight. I'm here to tell you a truth that the film bro in your life would hate to hear. Your favorite alpha male movie is homoerotic. In fact, all of them are. Don't believe me? Fine, I'll prove it with the help of my two favorite Scorsese films, Wolf of Wall Street and Goodfellas. But I'm not alone this time. I have plenty of friends to help me.
I've added more people to the watch party.
I'm Seth.
I'm Jared.
I am Sophie. I'm Sunny to my friends. I don't use...
When last we did this with robots, it was just me and Seth. As this goes forward, I'm just gonna get more and more people crammed into a tiny little frame.
The main question I came into these movies with is, how does the subtlety of the message influence the reception of the film? See, both have a very similar structure, and we're gonna go through both of them back to back to examine them with this feminist lens.
We're gonna examine how Martin Scorsese really lays this out in all of his films, whether or not people realize it.
But before we get into it, I want to tell you that this video is sponsored by me! If you like my video essays and the way that I examine films, you get a chance to do that with me on the first Monday of every month. I have a movie night with my patrons on the first Monday of every month where we get together and sit and watch a movie that I'm going to use in a future video. The cool part is, your insight might make it into a future video. It's a really fun time, it's a great way to connect with everybody, and it really helps me get some more insight onto these films that I already want to analyze. And if you don't want to contribute that much, that's perfectly fine. For as little as $1, you are able to access my community Discord server where you can come discuss art and other things with myself and other like-minded individuals. Also, if you have an idea for a future video essay, my highest tier patrons are able to suggest ideas for the rest of the patrons to vote on. It's a really fun system that I'm really excited to start doing. So if any of this sounds interesting to you, please click the link in the description below. I would love to see you over there on my Discord server. Thank you guys so much and enjoy the video.
The world of investing can be a jungle. Bulls, bears, danger at every turn. That's why we at Stratton Oakmont pride ourselves on being the best. Trained professionals to guide you through the financial wilderness. Stratton Oakmont. Stability, integrity, pride.
25 grand, the first cocksucker in there will bullseye! One, two, three!
My name is Jordan Belfort. Not him.
Me.
I want to start with The Wolf of Wall Street because I'd argue this story of the rise and fall of millionaire stockbroker scam artist Jordan Belfort is Scorsese at his least subtle, and that's indicated right from the very beginning.
My wife, Naomi, the Duchess of Bay Ridge, Brooklyn, a former model and Miller-Lite girl. Yeah, she was the one with my cock in her mouth in the Ferrari. So put your dick back in your pants.
I think already, like, they set up what that quote is. She is just as much of an object to this person as the Ferrari is. But this reeks of desperate masculinity. Telling people to put your dick back in your pants?
Oh, and if you think this is too close of a reading, if this is a bit too outlandish, if I'm extrapolating too much and Jordan doesn't think of his wife as property, well, actually, he says, in addition to Naomi and my 2 perfect kids, I own a mansion, a private jet, 6 cars, 3 horses, 2 vacation homes, and a 170-foot yacht. All in one sentence. She is property. She's owned. But Naomi is also not the first wife Jordan ever had, and for that we need to go all the way back to Jordan at 22 years old. This is Jordan bright-eyed, naive, and ready to be a cog in the machine of Wall Street. It's when we get introduced to Mark Hanna, played by Matthew McConaughey, that this film really touches on the societal contracts that we're going to explore in this video.
The clients you have are absolutely... Fuck the clients. Your only responsibility is to put meat on the table. You got a girlfriend?
I'm married. I have a wife. Her name's Teresa. She cuts hair.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Think about Teresa. Name of the game, move the money from your client's pocket into your pocket.
What do y'all know about Jean-Jacques Rousseau? Rousseau is most famous for his work The Social Contract, in which he claims that man is born free and everywhere he is in chains. In this quote, Rousseau is referencing an idea known as the noble savage, a characterization of society that he did not coin, but certainly popularized. The noble savage refers to man as an enlightened animal, one that has transcended our animalistic instincts and is able to govern himself. The way that mankind does this is through society, in which people give away some of their freedoms in turn for protection and community. Now, I have my own issues with the noble savage in Rousseau. I think it's an antiquated view of the human condition that perpetuates old world ideas of being civilized versus being savage, and that undoubtedly leads itself to a classist, racist, Eurocentric outlook on people and societies. However, it fits the Wolf of Wall Street perfectly. These men are a byproduct of the social contracts formed by the noble savage, and with this in mind, we can see so clearly when Jordan buys into this and why. When men are inducted into the patriarchy, they are sold what I like to call the provider fallacy. These men from boyhood are told that their role in the social contract is to be the provider, the moneymaker, the protector. And what's funny is Mark knows that this is too much for people to handle, which is why he speaks about the need for copious amounts of drugs and sex to get through the day. It's too much pressure for one person. And pretty soon after, he leads Leo down the same debaucherous path of substance abuse and infidelity.
They didn't even give you the time to realize that, like, as soon as he, like, starts with that, hey, paint Teresa as your North Star, you're doing this for Teresa, your wife that cuts hair, boom, now he's cheating on her, boom, now we're back at it. They don't even give you time to, like, register it.
But in return for this, what is the other side of the coin? What is the feminine end of this gender contract? Well, it's ownership. It's removal to the pedestal that Fry spoke of. I'll let past me explain it. I think the idea of a provider man is a lie sold to both sexes, primarily to women, though, as to perpetuate this sort of transactional ideology between relationships that, especially for women, puts them in a place where they lose their autonomy. Doll's House is a play written by Henrik Ibsen in 1879 that was met with intense controversy, both within the play and without. The play is about a housewife named Nora Helmer, who pretends to be quite the ditz when she really isn't. See Daisy Buchanan's beautiful little fool from The Great Gatsby. Before the events of the play, Nora's husband Torvald was dying from unforeseen circumstances, and she believed that it was due to stress from his job. So, unable to take out any money herself, she forged her father's signature to take out a loan and provide a vacation for the entire family. And it worked. Her husband got better, and them and their 2 children were able to return home, and everything went back to normal. Nora hides this secret very successfully until the events of the play, where someone who her husband recently fired comes to their house and blackmails her, telling her that unless she can give him his job back, he's going to tell Torvald about the loan. Nora knows that this would cause her husband immense shame to know that she went behind his back and emasculated him by handling the money. So she does everything she can to hide this until it eventually all blows up in her face. The play ends with Nora not only confessing that she did do this to her husband, but also telling him that she has been holding up the end of a transactional marriage that she no longer wants to be a part of. No longer is she content to be a doll in Torvald's dollhouse, so she leaves. She leaves her husband and their 2 children, and she walks out the door, and the play ends. The problem is, most women in Nora's position today do not have the means to up and leave, especially when the man is the sole provider of the house. They are trapped. They are forced into a life of a dollhouse. This, I hope you realize, will become a problem if a woman in this scenario is ever abused or victimized in any other way. She has no way to leave because she has lost her autonomy. Which is why it confuses me that the idea of a provider man is being sold to women in the year of our Lord 2025, because it's entrapment marketed and sold as empowerment, and that just doesn't sit right with me. Absolutely, you deserve to feel like the prize. You deserve to feel cherished, but there is a difference. And hoping that someone will provide for you and take care of you 100% is to reinforce gender stereotypes that have harmed people for centuries. And men suffer for this as well. They are sold a lie that as long as they continue to provide for their family, they can expect devotion, love, and servitude, and are surprised, confused, and frustrated when they don't get it. They are taught to believe that the nature of relationships is transactional, when a true healthy relationship is collaborative. So if you or anyone that you know is subscribing to this mindset of wanting this provider man, I urge you so strongly to check your priorities and see why this is the case. Because this dynamic can work in a relationship so long as it is rooted in collaboration. But what we're seeing here with this trad wife movement, this fantasy of a provider man, is not rooted in collaboration, it is rooted in transaction. And I don't trust it.
This speaks to something that I've spoken about before. Like a lot, the idea of just like, these people are bought into the idea of the provider man, like that sort of provider man ideology, which also is being pitched a lot in like feminist circles as well, because I think is absolutely deplorable, because it's right-wing propaganda being disguised as feminism. But like, men are promised this idea of your only job, bring the bread home. And because of that, they expect devotion.
Now that we've established this, let's examine Jordan's first marriage to Teresa through this lens. Jordan gets laid off from his Wall Street job, and that is a serious moment of emasculation for him. But despite the fact that Teresa is consistently supportive of him, Jordan himself cannot hold up his end of the patriarchal contract, and he begins to resent both himself and her. We can see very clearly these contrasting mindsets at play when Jordan gives her a gift.
Oh my God, Jordan,
You like it, baby?
oh my God, it's beautiful.
They're not the biggest stones in the world, but I promise they're really high quality.
It's beautiful. That's so beautiful.
That's so indicative. Like she's like, oh my God, this beautiful gift that my husband gave me that I love. He's like, yeah, well, the stones aren't very big. Shut up!
While Teresa is focused on the sentimentality of the gift, Jordan can only focus on the material. And also, this isn't something that Teresa would want from what we know of her. This doesn't seem like something she wants. This seems like something she should want. This is especially interesting when you compare that relationship and that scene to Jordan's relationship with Donnie. See, Donnie is Jordan's best friend for the entire film. Donnie is the man that Jordan loves more than anyone else, and it's clear to see from minute 1. In the first scene that we meet Donnie, he says that if Jordan shows him his pay stub for what he made last month, he'll quit his job on the spot and work for him. Now, as Fry said, this is what male devotion looks like. Donnie devotes himself to Jordan from minute 1, and it is precisely what Jordan needs to regain his sense of masculinity. Just look at how he reacts to Donnie's gift.
Listen, I'm really appreciative of this fucking job. I'm really enjoying it.
Really happy with what you're doing.
Actually, I got you a little present.
You got me a present?
I got you something.
You're sweet.
Yeah, it's in the back, though.
What do you mean?
You gotta go out back.
Like it's wrapped up or something?
It's wrapped up, yeah.
I don't get it.
Either do I. Let's fucking go. Come on.
Your turn. I'm fucking doing this. You gotta, you fucking mind shit, bro.
No one's fucking here, bro. Get the fuck. Smoke crack with me, bro. Fucking smoke crack. Smoke some fucking crack with me, bro.
One in, that's it.
Let's smoke.
Let's go on, man. We gotta get out of here, buddy. We gotta get out of here. Let's go fucking run.
I mean, do I really need to say more? I mean, it kind of writes itself. All right, okay. Let me find what I want to say while I let past Zephyr rant for a little bit.
The idolization is reserved for for other men. Like this, that would be reserved for women, technically in like a loving relationship, this idolization, this devotion, this thing like that. It is being given only to other men. How many women have talked in this movie? 2? 1? Like, and every time, again, it is seen as devotion as well, but it is never given back.
I suppose one argument against what I've said so far is this idea that Jordan gives his wife a gift to establish her position on the pedestal and cement his position over her, but Donnie does so to Jordan to prove his subservience to him. How can that be the case? How does it work both ways? When Jordan gives Teresa a bracelet, it will be used to display her status to everyone. It is a clear advertisement not only that she is married, the property of another man, but that man is of considerable wealth and status. In giving her a gift, Jordan ultimately benefits himself. When Donnie gives Jordan crack, it is immediately consumed, there is nothing to display, and it is done so in a private and intimate experience between the two of them. Not only that, it is a gift that is both illegal and expensive. In doing this, Donnie is establishing what he's willing to do, the lengths that he's willing to go to, and what he's willing to sacrifice in exchange for Jordan's favor. When Donnie gives Jordan a gift, he gets nothing in return. Well, not exactly nothing. Jordan is able to make those who associate with him massively wealthy, and all he asks in return is devotion, whether those who devote themselves to him know it or not. It's as he says.
Give them to me young, hungry, and stupid, and in no time, I'll make them rich.
And that, God, that's so indicative. Give him to me young, hungry, and stupid.
Jordan capitalizes and preys on those he deems to be of lower value than him, and either adds them to his army of devotees or bleeds them for all they're worth, sometimes both. It's this whole philosophy that got him rich through scamming poor people through penny stocks.
Yeah, but wouldn't you feel better if you sold that stuff to rich people who can afford to lose all that money?
Of course. But rich people don't buy penny stocks. They just don't.
Why not?
Because they're too smart. That's why not.
He doesn't scam rich people, people with status, because they're too smart to be part of the scheme as either a victim or a subordinate, and all Jordan concerns himself with is that. Even his nickname, the titular Wolf of Wall Street, he doesn't like, he considers to be slanderous until the Forbes article that called him that attracts a crazy amount of fresh-faced stockbrokers ready to devote themselves to him. I want to add an important side note here that not all the people whom Jordan indoctrinates are men, but for the women whom he does indoctrinate, they have a much more uphill battle, and they have to prove their fealty much more intensely.
I have offered our lovely sales assistant Danielle Harrison here $10,000 to shave a fucking head! Yeah, you want this? Oh, you want this? Let's go, Bob! Let's go, Biggie! $10,000 for breast implants. He's already got C cups, but now she wants fucking double D's. Is this a great fucking company or what?
That scene for me is one of the most disgusting in this entire movie. And when anyone talks about the movie, they never talk about this scene. This scene sticks in my mind so often, but nobody talks about it because it's not one of the sexy scenes that talks about what the movie is actually about, which is churning people, using people, churning them up, and spitting them out. That was a lot. Yeah, God, that scene fucking hits every single time. I hate it.
I'm sure you've heard of the idea of patriarchal bargaining, because with the prominence of figures like Candace Owens, the rise of Erica Kirk, and the recent grift of Nicki Minaj, it's become a very prevalent topic. The term was coined by Denise Candiotti in her 1988 article fittingly titled Bargaining with Patriarchy, in which she describes the partial patriarchy we are in the midst of. We are not under the same rigid constraints of a classic patriarchy, and that causes one of two responses in the modern woman, either to get out, figuratively speaking, and fight for equality of income and opportunity, or attempt to bind men more tightly to them. The latter is what we see Danielle doing in this scene. She's undergoing this humiliation ritual in order to bind herself more tightly to these men. The ethics of that on Danielle's side are really yours to decide, but I think we can all agree that this is disproportionately more extortive of her than anything any other man does for Jordan. This is because those men are all bought into this rigid hierarchy, and disrupting that hierarchy is not without consequence.
She's one of them, right? She's a broker as well, but it just shows that she will never be accepted by these men.
But while all of this is going on, as Jordan's value is reaching higher and higher, how does this affect his relationship with Teresa?
You!
Poorly. Poorly is how this affects his relationship with Teresa. Jordan meets the woman who will be his second wife, Naomi, and all but casts Teresa aside, and there are several reasons that could explain why this happens. Perhaps Jordan is still resentful from Teresa, and fearful that because she is the only person who knew him before this, she is the only one that can see through this facade. Perhaps it's because Jordan sees Naomi as a higher value woman, and in order to cement his status as a higher value man, he needs to have a higher value woman. Perhaps it's nothing more than lust, or maybe it's a culmination of all three. But what I find very interesting is that the film doesn't make you feel bad about this cheating either. There is no scene of Jordan contemplating his commitment versus his desire. It's just the next part of Jordan's life.
And it wasn't just about the sex either. Naomi and I got along. I mean, we had similar interests and shit.
When did they ever show him and his wife not getting along? Like, it's so obviously cope.
This infidelity is inconsequential, so much so that my friends and I felt more about a door in the scene.
Yeah, Margot Robbie, whatever. The door.
It's just a sick door.
It is a really nice door.
We gotta get a door.
It's working a little bit.
We need a door.
But I want you to watch the scene where they finally break it off, because it's very important to the points that I'll have later.
That's where you fucking been? With that fucking whore for the party?
What are you doing here? I thought you were at the beach house. Sweetie, come on.
Who the fuck are you, Jordan? You're like a completely different fucking person.
I made a mistake. I don't know what to tell you, babe. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Is that what you want? Do you love her? Answer me.
I felt horrible. 3 days later, I filed for a divorce and moved Naomi into the apartment.
Because is it just me, or does this scene make you feel absolutely nothing?
But what I think is so fantastic about this is that he's saying that he feels horrible, but I don't know about y'all. I feel absolutely nothing right now. Like, the movie does not want to make you feel horrible at all. And I think that's so... I mean, I think from a writing directorial standpoint, that's fucking incredible work that you can do this and go through all these tropes of like, do you love her? And like things that are supposed to make you feel bad, but leave your audience feeling jack shit in something where you should be feeling a lot. I think that's so incredibly powerful filmmaking.
There's yet another infidelity confrontation in this movie, and it's a very iconic one too, but it's known for being hilarious, and it is. It's not viewed as a betrayal, even though it definitely is, and that's because Naomi is his property. She's mentioned in the same breath as his car, he's able to step out on her as much as he wants, he named his yacht after her for Christ's sake, and for the final nail in the coffin, look at the ring that he gets for Naomi.
Oh my god.
You can say it.
It's an ugly ring.
It's an ugly ring.
It's an ugly ring. So how it matches her outfit right now. But that's an ugly ring.
Yeah. It's gaudy. It's gaudy to the point of, yeah, absolutely.
And it's probably worth a lot.
Yeah.
Jordan is finally able to get a sign big enough, ugly enough, and flashy enough to signify to everyone that this high-value woman is the property of a higher-value man. And knowing this, let's compare this new relationship to where Jordan's true love lies, the person with whom he built his entire empire, Donnie. Once Jordan gets into duplicitous criminal activity, Donnie becomes his right-hand man and his closest confidant, and as Jordan's life starts crashing down around him, he relies more and more on Donnie. And I want to highlight one scene in particular.
Jesus Christ, what are we gonna do when we get to Switzerland, buddy? This is bad. Things are against my chest. I can't breathe. Come on, do something to calm me down, please.
Okay, shut the fuck up. Just shut the fuck up. Okay, shh.
That's good.
Go to sleep.
A little bit harder, buddy.
You're all right. We all love you.
Just
Shut the fuck up.
That's the most intimate moment we've had on this entire movie. Yeah. And it is between him and his best friend, who adores him and loves him.
Side note, when Jordan almost drowns at sea, he is not rescued with his wife. He's rescued alongside Donnie.
And he's rescued with Donnie. He is rescued alongside Donnie, not with his wife. He is airlifted with Donnie, not with his wife.
And when Jordan hits his lowest point, how do both of these relationships get affected? Well, I think with both of them, it comes down to a loss of control, but it manifests itself in very different ways. In Naomi's case, I think Jordan loses the generosity he once provided her. He can no longer hold up his end of the bargain and becomes a destructive patriarchal force for Naomi, and not the sheltering asylum from the patriarchy that he once was.
All right, baby. Daddy and me go on a little trip together, okay? A little trip together.
Get the key! Get the key! I got it! Don't you want me to
Put your
fucking
seatbelt
do
on
it right
for
now?
Daddy, okay?
I'm gonna
Put your
do
seatbelt on.
it!
There you go, sweetheart. There you go. Get your legs in.
Ready.
I'm taking her with me! I told you I'm taking her with me, you fucking bitch! You're not gonna stop me! You're not gonna stop me! A little trip, buddy. All right? The other shoe. All right. Get the hell out of here!
Violet! Garage door! Close it!
Honey, it's okay.
Oh, Mr. Jordan, I lost his mind.
It's all right.
Oh, you're right. You're right. What's the matter with you? You're right. You're right.
I'm sorry, I'm fully breaking the momentum of this, but I think what's so important is, especially considering the lens that we're viewing this film in, is like this is the natural end goal of what happens when men are brought up this way. When they are told that all you have to do is put money on the table, all you have to do is earn money, all you have to do is that when you do that and what you are promised in that is not given to you, this is the reaction. You get frustrated because you're not taught anything else. This is the deal that you've signed, and now you're not given it. And like, this is where that comes from. He has lived his entire life expecting that as long as he does this, he will get that devotion. Because he doesn't view his wife as a person like he does Donnie, he thinks that he can act however he wants because he's holding up his end of the bargain at the end of the day.
So she takes their children and divorces him, and that's sort of that. Naomi's absence isn't really felt in the movie because her presence hardly was either. The real tragedy comes with the loss of Jordan and Donnie's relationship, and you feel it. After Jordan is placed on house arrest, the feds have all his money and assets tied up, and he's under federal investigation. The two of them have a very touching scene in which Donnie says he's going to take care of Jordan.
I got the founding partners together. Talk to him about everything, and I got you.
What do you mean you got me?
The house, money, don't worry about it, I got you.
I love you, buddy. You know I'd do it for you, right?
I know.
You know that, right?
I know.
Fucking kiss you all
All right, enough.
A man who can provide.
Yes, literally, that's it. You know I do it for you. This is love. The only love that is shown in this entire movie is between these two.
And the idea of Donnie taking care of Jordan in his hour of need on paper is so tender and loving. It is the ultimate act of love in this film. I've said it before, my favorite way to think of love is this idea of submission through devotion, and that's precisely what's going on here. Donnie's devotion never wavers, and when Jordan needs him most, he's right there for him. And maybe, just maybe, Jordan couldn't handle the idea of being provided for by another man. Because how does Jordan repay Donnie?
About that account? You know, you remember it was like 4 or 5 mil, something like that, right? We were supposed to kick back 4 or 5 mil, was it?
By ratting. And Donnie...
You're going to jail.
Rats on him in return.
That's it. That is why I wanted to talk about this movie in particular. That is the biggest betrayal in this film. Compare that to when he tells his wife that he doesn't want to be with her in the beginning. Compare that to when he when his wife leaves him, like just now, when he is cheating on his wife, the who scene, like all of those scenes where we should have felt something. There is a levity that exists in those scenes that is absolutely absent in this. This is the lowest point of the film, and it is when the true heartbreak of the film happens, when he loses the person that he loves, not his wife, not his previous wife, Donnie. This is what Marilyn Frye is talking about. This is the homosexuality, the man-lovingness that exists in these male cultures. What we consider to be love can only exist in these alpha male cultures like this from another man, because that is where you get validation from. That is where you get everything that makes you who you are. Oh my God, that scene's so powerful.
Jordan's time on top has ended, and perhaps neither Jordan nor Donnie noticed it consciously, but Jordan stopped holding up his end of the patriarchal contract, so Donnie let go of his end as well. And so the movie ends with Jordan in the present giving seminars and teaching lessons to the investors of tomorrow, and it is here that we get the final message of this film.
Mr. Jordan Belfort!
Thank you.
Sell me this pen.
It's a amazing pen. For professionals.
Sell me this pen.
Well, this pen works, and I personally love this pen, and I think this
That ending is so haunting to me. That's such a haunting ending, because after the end of this movie of him literally being the worst person on earth, they look and the last thing we see is all of these people who want to be exactly like him, who want to do exactly what he just did. That is terrifying. That's such a horrifying movie, and people love him. People idolize this man. They idolize Leo in this role. Oh my God, that's absolutely bone-chilling. Oh my God, that makes my skin crawl.
We get the literal Jordan Belfort to show that even Leo, in a sense, is emulating him.
Yep.
Even in trying to show, like, this guy is awful, this guy sucks. There is still a glorification of him, in a sense.
They wouldn't be able to make this movie if he didn't.
No, absolutely.
Yeah, that's the thing about biopics. It's like, why? Yeah.
It's how Scorsese presents it. It reminds me of the ending of Killers of the Flower Moon, where he's like, I recognize the limits of my own creative sense here.
Yeah.
I know that this is not going to go exactly how I want it to.
Yeah.
So I'm going to put the camera in your fucking face.
Yeah. You could argue this is not as subtle as something as... this is more subtle than something like Killers of the Flower Moon. But he's still... I mean, some would argue, like, this is him being like, don't like this guy.
Yeah, this time he literally points the camera back at us and shows, like, this is what the people who idolize him are.
Yeah. Oh my God, that's
Jesus
terrifying.
Christ.
Yeah. Terrifying.
The Wolf of Wall Street does a fantastic job of illustrating this idea that Frye speaks on, but despite being very explicit in its message, it managed to become one of the most misunderstood films in cinema history, putting Jordan Belfort in the same genre of characters as Patrick Bateman, Holden Caulfield, Spike Spiegel, Shinji Ikari, The Joker, The Punisher, Rorschach, Homelander, Walter White, Tyler Durden. But Goodfellas is interesting to examine this right after because it's a lot more subtle. It's a lot less grandiose in its scope, and it's a lot less bombastic in its execution. And that's precisely what Sonny and I settled in for as we prepared to watch it.
Now all the stinky, yucky boys are gone.
Yeah.
So we can watch... Oh.
That's good.
We can watch Goodfellas all by ourselves.
Yay!
We got Chinese.
As far back as I can remember, I always wanted to be a gangster.
I know I'd go from rags to riches.
Already the similarities between the two should be relatively apparent. Scorsese sets us up with a frame narrative as the main character regales us of his descent into crime while starting with his humble beginnings. Henry Hill spends the first quarter of this film telling us about how he got involved with organized crime young because he looked up to the men in the mob. He admired how they could act with impunity but retain the respect of all the men in town, but none more respected than Paulie.
Hey, Paulie. Paulie might have moved slow. But it was only because Paulie didn't have to move for anybody.
Must I forever be a beggar? It's your fault. You started. I started it. It's your fault.
I mean, that's quintessential admiration, is it not? Having men stop in their tracks when you enter a room out of respect for you. Henry, much like everyone else, grows to love Paulie as a surrogate father, a mentor, and a legend. Henry also falls in love with Paulie and the mob's society, which is a microcosm of the patriarchy in and of itself. In fact, I'd argue this patriarchal hierarchy in the mob is a lot closer to a classic patriarchy. These men pledge allegiance to Paulie in exchange for protection and personal benefit. It's almost feudal in its rigidity. It is strict, it is gendered, it is male-centric. But you don't realize it at first glance. The movie doesn't paint these criminals as monsters the way Scorsese did with Jordan. We view them with the same childlike wonder that Henry does, and we fall in love with them as well. To further my point, as Henry grows up being more and more indoctrinated into the mafia underground, he meets Jimmy Conway, Robert De Niro's character, who will become his closest friend. Now, Jimmy is simultaneously known as the most dangerous smuggler, thief, and murderer in town, but to everyone, including the cops,
Hey, Jimmy! You got anything good?
and it's Jimmy that tells him the most important lesson that he will learn this entire film.
You took your first pinch like a man, and you learned the two greatest things in life.
Well,
Look at me. Never rat on your friends, and always keep your mouth shut.
And he follows this to the letter. Look what happens after he gets pinched.
Oh, you broke your cherry.
I mean, come on. Sexual metaphor followed by validation by way of male affection? I mean, slam dunk, you know? It's not until we meet Tommy, played by Joe Pesci, that anyone gets framed at all negatively. Tommy is the third member of Henry and Jimmy's trio, and from the get-go, he's framed as a bit of a loose cannon, but one whom Henry and Jimmy form a close friendship with. It's through Tommy that 30 minutes into the movie, we meet our first woman main character, Karen, who will become Henry's wife.
I couldn't wait to get away. I was ordering the dessert when they were eating dinner. When they were having coffee, I was asking for a check. I had business.
Have some coffee, it'll wake you up.
What do you call it?
Joe, come in the check.
Oh, what are you doing? What are you doing?
I gotta go.
Go where? I mean, we just got here.
I got that thing. I gotta go.
30 minutes into the movie before we meet a single woman. 30 minutes into the movie.
Yep.
He spends the entire time talking about, God, I love being a gangster so much. I love this guy. I love that guy. This guy saved my life. This guy I die for. I love this guy. And then I have to meet a fucking girl.
Not a
Jesus
woman.
fucking Christ. This broad won't shut the fuck up. However, what this movie does really well is it explores the dynamic between a man and a woman in this institutionalized sexism a lot more than it does in Wolf of Wall Street. Like, we get very much the male angle of it on Wolf of Wall Street, and this one explores the sort of dynamic angle of it.
Henry begins this relationship feeling apathetic towards Karen at best. He sees her as a nuisance or a chore until she confronts him publicly about standing her up.
You got some nerve standing me up. Nobody does that to me. Who the hell do you think you are? Frankie Valli or some kind of big shot?
Slow down, all right? I forgot. I thought it was next week.
It was Friday. It was this Friday, and you agreed, so you're a liar.
Come on, we can talk about this, all right? Take it easy.
Talk about it? Talk to you after what you just did to me? Forget it. I'm not talking to you about
Wait a
anything.
second. I thought you were gonna stand me up. You look bored. You didn't say anything. What do you expect? Let me make it up to you. Karen.
I'll think about it.
I remember she's screaming on the street, and I mean loud, but she looked good.
I'll think about it. It's gonna cost you, hell.
Make it up.
At which point he sees her as someone that doesn't give him the respect that he deserves, as a mafia man, someone who will not willfully submit to him, but must be courted and coerced into submission. And how does he do this?
How you doing? Henry, nice to see you. Yeah, good seeing you. Hi, how are you? Anthony, right in the front. Great, thanks. Anything you need, Henry, just let me know. Hey, how come we can't get... I know you're waiting. I'll be right with you.
how does he impress this woman? Look at all the other men who respect me.
Unlike in The Wolf of Wall Street, Karen demonstrates her value as a woman not through status or sex appeal, but rather through establishing herself as a woman who will not be made into any man's property easily. So therefore, Henry, through his ability to break her, establishes himself as a high-value man. And part of being a high-value man is not allowing anyone to touch what's yours. So when someone encroaches on his relationship with Karen, he reacts very violently.
I swear my fucking mother, if you touch her again, you're dead! Don't shoot!
See, because he doesn't care about her. We've already established this. I'm like, oh, maybe he's softened up to her, sure. But it's the fact that he touched something that wasn't his. You know what I mean? That's what it is.
And how does Karen react to this show of force?
I gotta admit the truth. It turned me on.
Karen herself has bought into this patriarchal contract so much that she considers this hypermasculinity attractive, and she's handsomely rewarded for it, most notably at their wedding.
Holy, you shouldn't have.
Now this scene I find often makes people feel weird, and let's take a step back and examine why, shall we? Already we know that marriage is a deeply patriarchal institution. It has evolved a lot since its inception, but at its core it is a tradition based on giving a woman away as property. It makes a woman into a spectacle, and how does this movie show this spectacle? Well, by showering her with monetary and material gifts. But none of these gifts come out of love for her as a person. They come from a desire to be in the good graces of Henry, and by extension, Paulie. This tradition that makes her feel special and loved is nothing more than a grandiose display of objectification and loyalty to another man. After their marriage, Karen finds herself spending time with the other mafia wives, and she begins to worry about Henry getting arrested and killed, and it's here that I want to highlight what for me is one of the most striking moments of the film.
Nobody goes to jail unless they want to.
No one goes to jail unless they want to. They want to get away from their wives. That's such a common occurrence that men are willing to go to prison to be surrounded by, mind you, all men, than to be around one woman.
Now remember this, because it will be important later. But for a while, everything is hunky-dory. Everyone's getting along, everyone's happy, and their marriage is thriving under this social contract.
He just wants to throw money at the thing.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the thing with relationships in a system like this. They are not, they're transactional.
Yeah.
As soon as he gives her money, now she rewards him with sex. That is what the gender stereotypes reinforce. A transactional relationship.
Until Henry cheats on Karen, and Karen finds out.
Karen. What are you doing? Karen, are you crazy?
Yeah, I'm crazy. I'm crazy enough to kill the both of you.
Karen, take it easy. Okay?
Do you love her? Do you?
Karen. Karen. I love you. You know I love you.
Stop.
Karen.
No, you don't.
What, are you fucking crazy, Karen? Are you crazy? Huh? I got enough to worry about getting fucking whacked on the street. I gotta fucking come home. I gotta fucking come home for this. I should fucking kill you. How does it feel? Huh? Huh? How does it feel, Karen?
To compare the two, right? Like the two in both of these, it's met with "Do you love her?" and then two very different scenes play out, which I think is absolutely fascinating. Because in the first one, like I was saying, like in Wolf of Wall Street, you feel nothing. In this one, you feel wretched. Like, you just feel, I mean, I'm speaking for both of us, but, you know, I just feel gross. I feel horrible for, I know her as Melfi. I keep wanting to call her Melfi because she's in The Sopranos as Melfi, but like, you feel absolutely just so sad for her, and you see that Henry's a fucking scumbag. And it's like in both of these, the same scene plays out. Both these main characters have the same thing. And in both of them, you realize that these women are, well, number one, know that they don't love her, but two, that they never did, because that's not what this was. It wasn't about love. It was about ownership. It was about status. It is about putting them on a pedestal. This is my woman. I will put her here. I will keep her very nice and safe, and that is it. That's my job. And in return, I get children and sex and etc.
I remember watching it the first time. I was like cringing so bad because I'm like, oh, like, violent, aggressive male is just my worst fucking fear.
Yeah.
And even I think the first time I watched it, like, every time they were yelling, like, even not so much at each other, like, as every time there was like a woman involved and they were definitely like yelling around her or at her, I'm like, like, heart rate like increased, not stop breathing, like, every single time. So it's almost a good thing that I watched it once before, because now, like, I know what to expect. But it's like the same thing where it's like, oh my god. It's one thing for the guns to be pointed at the like man to man, but like as soon as it turned into like domestic violence, it's like, because it's very real, it's very raw, it's very like, the guys obviously don't love these women at fucking all, and they don't respect them at fucking all, like they respect each other. So it's like a different dynamic.
Yeah, there's a power. Yeah, and especially because they talk about him, and when he is interacting with the other guys, he is subservient. They say, "Oh, he never talks, he never does anything. He's such a mediator with them. He keeps his temper with the other guys."
Yeah.
And so where does all that rage, where does all that aggression go?
It goes right to her.
It goes right to her. Because he does not respect her in the way that he respects these other men. He loves these men, he does not love her.
Now, similarities aside, Paulie and Jimmy meet with Henry after this and tell him that he has to go back to Karen, not because it's the right thing to do, not because he's in the wrong and should be begging for her forgiveness, but because he has to keep up appearances, because Karen is hysterical and they need to protect their operation, because only animals get divorced and they're better than that.
You gotta take it easy. You got children. I'm not saying you gotta go back there this minute, but you gotta go back. I mean, it's the only way. Gotta keep up appearances.
Gotta keep up appearances. That's the only reason that they wanted to sort this out. They don't give a shit about this girl, but it's the fact that they have to keep up appearances, they don't want her to rat, and they don't trust that this girl is a loose cannon.
But furthermore, he can continue to cheat on Karen. They don't care about that, but he has to make sure that he stays in line and goes back to her. And right after he does, he ends up in jail.
Okay, boys, let's see. Come on, Freddie, Vinny.
Coming up for some more bread.
Tomorrow we eat sandwiches. You gotta go on a diet, Vinny.
Sandwiches ain't kid.
Believe me. Johnny?
And where is he now? He's in jail. One must wonder why. It must be because he wants to be in there, like he said in the beginning of the fucking movie. Because it's so coincidental that he was like, "Oh, guys only get in jail when they want to get away from their wives." And now that he wants to get away from his wife, where does he find himself? In fucking jail.
In jail.
With his homies, making dinner with the boys.
With his homies.
Yeah. They're living domestic bliss together in prison. He doesn't miss his wife. He doesn't even miss his mistress that he wanted to be with so bad. He misses Jimmy.
They lived alone.
They lived alone.
They own the joint.
And we slept together in the same bed. And we held each other really close at night because it was so cold. And sometimes Holly would whisper in my ear.
I dream of Jimmy.
I dream of Jimmy, the one thing I want, the one thing I was missing in life.
Now, after Henry leaves jail, everything goes back to normal. Henry goes back to Karen and to his mistresses and makes sure that they never cross paths again. But Henry's relationships change as he gets deeper and deeper into crime. His relationship with Paulie changes as he gets into drug trafficking, something Paulie explicitly warned him against. His relationship with Tommy changes as Tommy becomes more and more of a loose cannon, and his relationship with Jimmy changes as Jimmy grows more paranoid following a massive heist. And then...
Freeze! Don't you move, you motherfucker! I'll blow your brains out! Shut the car off slowly!
Henry gets busted. And he knows that this is it. He knows the feds are after him, he knows Tommy is dead, he knows Jimmy doesn't trust him not to sell him out, and worst of all, he knows that he's lost Paulie's trust after he lied to him.
I know I fucked up. Fucked up. Yeah, you fucked up. But I'm all right now. I can be trusted now, Paulie. I'm clean. On my kids, I'm clean.
You looked in my eyes, you lied to me. You treated me like a fucking jerk. Like I was never nothing to you.
Paulie, after what you said, I couldn't come to you. I was ashamed. I'm ashamed now. But I got nowhere else to go, Paulie. You're all I've got, and I really, really need your help. I really do.
Take this. Now I gotta turn my back on you.
Oh. And again, this is the biggest loss in the entire film. No one, not when he cheated on his wife, not when, the bond that is supposed to be the most important bond. No, this is the biggest thing. When he loses his father, that's not even his father. The relationship that matters the most to him is the idolization that he has for Paulie. And you feel it. You feel it.
Yeah,
You're like, oh, fuck. Like, damn, that sucks. That's hard.
So, knowing he has no other option, he breaks the first rule he ever learned and rats on his friends. He takes his wife and their kids because they're the last things he owns and goes into witness protection. And it's sad. It is a betrayal that you feel because it is the true heartbreak of this film.
When I was broke, I would go out and rob some more. We ran everything. We paid off cops, we paid off lawyers, we paid off judges. Everybody had their hands out. Everything was for the taking. And now it's all over.
Wow.
Wow. What a double feature this was. I think this was Wolf of Wall Street before Wolf of Wall Street. The parallels are clear to see. People had the same reaction to Goodfellas that they did to Wolf of Wall Street. And you can see, this movie is a lot more subtle with it.
Yeah.
And even still, Jordan Belfort gets idolized the same way that Henry Hill does. So how much of that is Martin Scorsese's fault?
Don't know.
No. That's what the rest of the video is about.
Subtlety. That is the sticking point I keep coming back to. How does the subtlety of these two very similar films impact their message and the way they were received? The Wolf of Wall Street, in its bombasticness, ends up making its loud moments the ones that we remember. We don't remember the quiet moments, the sad moments, the painful fall from grace, not because they're not important or not well done, but because the loud moments are so much more memorable. The lack of subtlety with this message weirdly made people not get it. These gaudy, debaucherous scenes intended to be an entertaining train wreck that you just can't look away from become these badass alpha male scenes that those similarly indoctrinated into the manosphere see as an aspirational power fantasy. But I'm sure I don't need to tell you just how much the alpha males love Wolf of Wall Street. What about Goodfellas? Goodfellas is really interesting to analyze this way, the two coming out almost a quarter of a century apart, but for a movie released in 1990, the culture surrounding it at the time and now is wildly different. Now, I'm speaking anecdotally, but when I speak to the average person, specifically the average male, about Goodfellas, it's touted as a masterpiece, and rightfully so, but only for how cool it is, how sick those characters are, how cool that mob life looks. Never do I hear the average viewer remark on how this film is a modern tragedy, a tale of betrayal and loss, a descent into paranoia and a haunting tale of the criminal underground. Goodfellas is your dad's favorite movie. It is your broy millennial coworker's favorite movie. It deserves its praise. I love this movie, but it's similarly a victim of poor interpretation, just to a quieter degree than The Wolf of Wall Street. And I believe that's both due to subtlety and time. Not only did the ability to make a film as viral as Wolf of Wall Street is not exist in 1990, but Henry Hill's tale is quieter. It is more subdued. It is more domestic and simpler. It all takes place in New York. It is populated by quiet criminals who work in the shadows and live live private lives, and when it is bombastic, these loud moments are haunting and scary. Every shout disturbs the peace. Every gunshot echoes through the film like a pebble leaving ripples on the surface of a lake. This makes Henry a much more likable character. It makes his relationship with Paulie, Jimmy, and Tommy more outwardly tender, and it makes it easier to relate to him and his plight. This is also not to say you can't relate to problematic characters. 3 of my favorite stories of all time are Cowboy Bebop, Neon Genesis Evangelion, and The Catcher in the Rye, but if you love a problematic character, you need to be cognizant of those characters' faults. Often these problematic characters are relatable because they're indicative of struggles that we have faced, battles that we have overcome, but relating to Jordan Belfort or Henry Hill more often than not is buying into a power fantasy that we've been sold since birth collectively. Show, don't tell. That is the first thing you learn as a filmmaker. It is the golden rule of filmmaking. The artist in me says that the subtlety should matter, that subtlety, not brevity, is the soul of wit. As a storyteller, though, do you bear a responsibility to ensure that the message of your work is clear? I don't think so. Scorsese makes these horrible people relatable not because he wants us to idolize them, because that's often the case. Horrible people are often incredibly charismatic and compelling, and that's what makes them entertaining to watch. The messages of these films lie in the nuance that these characters need to truly understand them. But more often than not, those who view these films don't unpack them to the degree that they should because they don't see them as societal critiques. They've never needed to, because the plight of patriarchal oppression and rigidity has never impacted them to a noticeable degree. At the end of the day, I can't tell you what Scorsese wanted the messages of these films to be. I can't tell you if gender even entered his mind when he made these films, much less Marilyn Frye's critiques of gender depression. But I think it's clear to see by simply looking past the surface of either of these movies that Scorsese's intent diametrically opposes this alpha male interpretation, and from this gendered lens, the manosphere adopting these characters just feels like a slap in the face to some of the most well-done mainstream critique of hypermasculinity in the modern era. And what's really interesting is that the tenets of this reading apply to most of Scorsese's other films as well. The Irishman, Killers of the Flower Moon, The Departed, Raging Bull, I mean, it goes on and on. So my main point with this really is, if a film bro tries to belittle your favorite movie, just tell him that his favorite movie is really gay. Like, down to its core, male-loving gay. And that's honestly really progressive of him. Go off, queen. So you're welcome. You have infinite joy now. Thank you so much for watching.